raising your vibration, it's not like you do it once and you're done. No, it's a continuous choice in every single moment. That's where the accountability comes into play. What I know to be true, though, is that when you emit that high vibration energy, that's when the abundance starts flowing into your life. Like, that is when you start really understanding the power of frequency. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Power in the Pause podcast. I am Wendy Sterling, Wendy Page Sterling, here as your host. And I am excited to talk to you guys today about the power of frequency and how that relates to how our life transitions awaken us. So I want to start today's episode by actually sharing a personal story that really underscores the profound impact of life transition. Two specifically that I went through, which were both my divorce as well as losing my mother. And what I know to be true is that these moments can really serve as powerful wake-up calls, which really spark our spiritual awakenings and propel us to step into that high vibration, that high frequency that we are destined to inhabit. And my first awakening came about 7 years ago when I realized that my marriage was over. And it was in that moment that I, for the first time, really trusted my intuition and made a life-altering choice, which was to choose me. And it was really about choosing to prioritize myself, my well-being. And that was something I hadn't done for most of my life. You see, when I was growing up, I am first generation born here in the United States. And so my family came to this country wanting to fit in, right? Wanting to fit into America. And so as a result, I was taught to conform to certain rules or expectations and to really fit into this mold that my family saw as being part of, being American. And so what that actually became for me in my life was really suppressing my voice, staying silent, not questioning the status quo. But yet what I knew to be true was that actually who I was the exact opposite of that, right? I was this little tomboy. I was very outspoken. I was super, super inquisitive. And I really had a natural gift for actually sensing energies and spirits. When I was growing up, my mom called it that I had imaginary friends. And so that's really what I had as, that's what I thought was happening. And it really wasn't until, I woke up and I really realized that I actually have clairvoyant abilities. And so what I had done for my whole life was really operate from the lens of who everyone saw me to be. And I did bring that dynamic into my marriage. And what it did was it created me being a people pleaser and constantly seeking validation from the outside because I couldn't see myself. I didn't know who I was. I had disconnected from her so frequently. And what ended up happening was that, my self-esteem, my confidence, my worth were in the toilet because I didn't know who I was. I didn't love myself because I didn't know if I was worthy of love. If people didn't tell me, then how would I know, right? So all of that being this trifecta of super, super low vibration frequency. And what those frequencies manifested into were really negative emotions like complaining or being depressed or overwhelmed or anxious or resentful. And I found myself for most of my life being trapped in this cycle, right? A cycle of unhappiness and bitterness and resentment and anxiety and overwhelm. And it took me some time. It took me, really learning that these are low vibration frequencies, right? So as you guys, know, our emotions are, I hope you've heard this, our emotions are energy in motion. And so when we operate at a low frequency, we're attracting people and circumstances that really mirror that energy. And 7 years ago, my divorce served as a massive wake-up call for me and a sign that I needed to stop playing small, that I deserved to vibrate at a high frequency and to align with it 24/7. And so when I started doing that, all of a sudden, I discovered that everything in the universe is energy. We're energy, right? And I also learned about science, right? Specifically quantum physics, and how it is that our thoughts themselves actually have energetic frequencies attached to them, right? Our thoughts, our opinions, our decisions. So if what we desire isn't aligning with our current reality, it's because we're playing in this conflicting vibration space. And so I realized that my vibration was something that could help me figure out like what worked and what didn't work. And it ultimately paired itself with my intuition, right? My intuition was telling me what that high vibration was. And when it was my mind or my ego, I realized that that wasn't the frequency that I wanted to align myself with. And so when you become, and I learned this so quickly, when you become a vibrational match for what it is that you desire, those things not only start showing up, but you also begin to release what doesn't align with your energy. And sometimes that's also people. And so for most of my life, I was staying in low vibration relationships because it felt comfortable, it felt familiar. And anytime I wanted to use my voice or to express myself differently, I tended to suppress my truth. And that's what kept me stuck for so many decades. And so as I began my journey to raise my vibration, to up-level my frequency, I realized that those who vibrated at a lower frequency really felt heavy and made me feel super lethargic and sad and depressed, versus when I was engaging in experiences and around people that gave off or, embodied a higher frequency, like joy and love and lightness and creativity, I felt so much more aligned with myself. And so I craved that high frequency. So I wanted to learn more. I wanted to go really deep into this place. And so what that meant was recently, right, was really, discovering that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, discovering that I wanted to change my business, which came a couple of years later. And it's always come with hiring mentors to help me, to guide me into this next level. And so what I started to understand and to realize and to feel was that being in this new vibrational state was beyond invigorating, right? It was like, oh, it just felt so amazing. And I wanted to stay in that place. I wanted to be surrounded by people who vibrated at that higher frequency. And I was reminded of that yet again when I experienced another profound awakening, and that is when I lost my mom to ovarian cancer in January of 2022. And losing her reinforced the importance of embracing my true frequency and living life authentically. While losing her was probably the most heart-wrenching experience of my life, it also reminded me of the impermanence of life. And so anything that isn't aligned with truth or love or connection or compassion is what's going to lower your vibration. And my mom's passing really highlighted the urgency for me in this moment to live in alignment with my deepest truth and passion. And it really reminded me to stop postponing my dreams, to stop compromising who I was authentically. And those signs started last year, and I fought them with every bone in my body because my ego was like, well, you just spent 6 years building this whole new business. Like, you can't give that up. What are you thinking? What are you doing? Right? How many times do your negative critics get involved? And I kept noticing how I was doing this dance of raising my frequency, going back lower, raising lower, raise lower. And I was getting really tired. And I wanted to stay in that high vibration. I'll be honest, I was afraid what people were going to say. I was afraid of what people were going to think. I was afraid of being judged, right? All those things that I talk about. And, what I'm really good at is helping others as well as myself to get out of that place, right? It's not that we're never triggered. It's about shifting more quickly. And I realized that when I was staying at that high vibration, I was in that place of aligning with that state of being more frequently. And so I started to pay attention to when I was in that low vibration, because I was attracting low vibration, versus when I was in high vibration, I was attracting high vibration, right? Like attracts like. And so when I shifted my focus from, fear and separation to connection and unity, all of a sudden, like my life literally changed. And while I know that change is unsettling for a lot of us, right? What I know to be true is that when something is uncomfortable, there's growth on the other side. And so if you're willing to be uncomfortable at that higher vibration, you are going to notice that certain, you get uncomfortable because certain relationships or people are not resonating with you anymore. And I know that that can be super, super difficult. Like I said, I fought it for a very long time. What I also know to be true is that I tried to change other people's frequencies. I was like, oh, I'm just going to change them and they're going to come with me and it's going to be fine. No, I had to let go in order to stay on my path of ascension. And so if you're somebody who is thinking about, I'm not sure what vibration I'm at, I'm going to invite you to consider these questions, okay? Number one, are your decisions driven by fear, low vibration, or love, high vibration? Do you find yourself in negative emotional states, low vibration, or positive ones, high vibration, right? Be honest with yourself. Do you treat others with kindness and respect, high vibration, or do you try to hurt them with your words and actions, low vibration? Sometimes it can be even without realizing, right? Are your actions aligned with your values, high vibration, not low, right? Or excuse me, are your actions aligned with your values, which is you being at a high vibration, or are they not aligned with your values, which are your low vibration, right? So when you shift into that higher frequency, it is going to necessitate inner work and consistency, you guys. Like that's just the way it is. And the minute that I started integrating frequency healing into the work that I do with my clients, it's really helped to accelerate their process, their healing and their awakenings and their ability to really step into this new being that is awakened. And what I know to be true is that when we focus on those high vibration practices and fostering those positive feelings, what ends up happening is that you end up really being in a place where you are, you're loving yourself every second of every day. And so remember, though, that it's not just about thinking positive thoughts. It's about feeling, right? Feeling good. It's really, it's such an ongoing process, you guys. And I teach my clients new and different ways to be able to have a morning and an evening practice, right? That looks like gratitude. I guess you would call it a gratitude practice in the morning and at night, because you get to start your day high vibration and you get to end your day low vibration, right? I talk a lot about mindfulness, right? Mindfulness is a practice that gets us back into that high vibration frequency. And it's really about nurturing healthy relationships in your life and engaging in your ability to really affirm what it is that you know to be true about yourself, right? Not what others are telling you, but what you know your truth to be. And so I invite you guys to really ground yourselves in what you know to be true, in really also understanding that raising your vibration, it's not like you do it once and you're done. No, it's a continuous choice in every single moment. That's where the accountability comes into play. And so what I know to be true, though, is that when you emit that high vibration energy, that's when the abundance starts flowing into your life. Like that is when you start really understanding the power of frequency and how it awakens you, right, to really step into and be living your best life and aligning with your highest self in every single moment. So When you vibrate at a higher frequency, you are creating a reality that is filled with love and positivity and abundance. So I invite every single one of you guys today to start choosing love and to practice your gratitude and to embrace the higher vibrations and people in your life. So I hope that you guys really enjoyed today's episode. I feel so passionate about this topic, and I really, with every single episode of this podcast, I really want you guys to start recognizing how it is that in these life transitions, if we just gift ourselves with pausing and really acknowledging and recognizing how our awakenings can really shift our frequency and really just change the trajectory of our life, like that is what I want for each and every one of you guys, is to see how powerful these moments are and how it can just completely change your life forever. I am an example. My clients are an example of it. And I know that each and every one of you guys can do this work. It just takes consistency. So thank you guys again. And I send you all so much love, light, and joy. Mwah. I'll see you in the next episode.